A lot of people don't understand how the Instagram algorithm works, so in this video I'm going to be breaking it down so I can help you go more viral. So first things first, the algorithm isn't a person or a group of people deciding what gets pushed out and what doesn't. It is essentially a robot. The goal of this robot is to keep consumers on the platform for as long as possible. So what it does is it connects consumers or viewers to creators that best suit them with the best quality videos so that consumers stay on the platform for longer, making Instagram more money. As you guys already know, Instagram is a business and they make money by people staying on the platform, consuming more ads and just using the app. So to keep people on the platform for as long as possible, they use the algorithm to make sure they're getting the right content that's going to keep them hooked, keep scrolling, that way they can make money. So now you understand this, you can probably understand that targeting the right people with your content and also making sure that your content is some of the best quality in that niche is going to be the best way to get you pushed out into the algorithm. Now, you may be wondering how the algorithm decides what they're going to choose to push out and what they're not going to choose to push out. This is what we're about to cover, so make sure you're ready to take some notes. So when you post a video, it gets pushed out to a smaller group of people. This could be your followers, or if you're brand new, it probably won't be your followers, but just a group of people that the algorithm thinks is going to be suitable. But in this time, they're going to be trying to find the group they think is suitable if you're especially new. But once they've found that group, they're going to see how that post performs once pushed out to that group. If it does well, then it will keep getting pushed out. If it doesn't do well, then it won't get pushed out. It will essentially keep getting pushed out until there's a certain group and it starts dropping off. It's not performing as well, and then it will typically not get pushed out anymore. However, there are some things we can do to make sure that this process is as successful as possible, so I'm about to list these out now. So the first thing the algorithm takes into consideration is if the quality of the content is actually good. So what do I mean by this? I mainly am talking about here the quality. So whether your video is pixelated or your picture is pixelated, it's not very good, it's probably not going to get pushed out. If it is HD, really nice and clear, really good picture, then it probably has a lot more chance of being shown to more people as it is considered a more quality product. Another thing the algorithm is going to take into account is the engagement rate on your content. So you want to be keeping your likes typically above a 10% ratio. So let's say 1,000 people watch the video. If you get more than 100 likes, that's pretty good going. However, it's not all just about likes, it's also about how many comments you get, how many shares you get, how much time people spend on a post is another big one. So if they watch a reel a load of times, or if they're on a post and they stay on it because they're swiping through, or a carousel and they're swiping through, or maybe the post is just something that they're intrigued in and they spend a lot of time on it rather than swiping straight past. These are all things that the algorithm will take into consideration on whether they should push out your video or not. The algorithm is also going to try and work out what your content is about, as they want to keep people on the platform for as long as possible. And they know that everyone on Instagram is going to have different preferences and is going to essentially need a different viewing experience. So they try and work out what your post is about so they know who to push it to, as if they push the wrong post to the wrong people, then they're probably going to not stay on Instagram for very long, which is not going to make Instagram very profitable. The algorithm works this out through looking for clues in your content, all the way from your video or your post down to the captions and the hashtags under your post. So make sure you're doing these things with intent so you can specifically target a certain group of people to help the algorithm know who to push your content out to, giving it a better chance of doing well. The algorithm also looks at information about the content creator or the page. This is why I always talk about staying consistent to a certain niche and staying consistent in posting, because if you're consistent at posting, they're going to like you more. And also, if you stay consistent to a niche, then they're going to know through the fact that the more posts you get, the more they're going to know which niche you're in and who to push your content to. So make sure you stick within a niche, and then also make sure you're being consistent with your posting. And the last point I'm going to talk about today in terms of the algorithm is they look at who engages with your content and who doesn't engage with your content and who you engage with at the same time. So if you have conversations with your followers in the comments or in DMs, your post is more likely to go out to these followers as they think, you've got a connection, you know each other, so they're going to want to see your content. So this is why it's really important when you get comments to try and start a conversation, as the more comments is also going to help the engagement, which is going to help the post get pushed out. But aside from that, it's going to make the algorithm think, okay, this person has a connection with this person, so that means they clearly like their stuff, we're going to keep pushing them their stuff. This will also help you just build a loyal following, which is going to help, once again, when that first post goes out and it goes to the first round of people, if you've got a loyal following that are going to like it, share it, that's going to help it get to the next stage and get pushed out further and further into the algorithm. Now, I get a lot of people coming to me and saying, oh, I'm shadow banned, or they think I'm shadow banned, how to fix a shadow ban. To be honest, you're probably not shadow banned. It's a lot harder to get shadow banned than people think, especially if you are making your own content and doing the right things. The only real way to get shadow banned is by doing something that is against the sort of Instagram community guidelines guidelines, so make sure you go and check those out if you haven't already. Make sure you're doing things that are not against the community guidelines, and you shouldn't have any problems being shadow banned. If you're convinced that you're shadow banned, or you just want to double check to make sure your account isn't shadow banned before you go and post loads of content, you can actually do this by going to your profile, going to settings, searching up account status, and then once you're in the account status, you'll be able to see if your account is shadow banned or if it's restricted, things like this. I'll put a little pop-up on the screen next to me so you can see what I mean. So yeah, if it's all green tick like this, like my pages, then you know you're not shadow banned, and you can be 100% sure that Instagram isn't hurting your page or hurting your reach. It's just probably the quality of your content, or maybe you're directing it to the wrong people, things like this. Now, if you're wondering where I got all this information from, it's, I'm not just plucking it from thin air. I actually watched a video from the head of Instagram on Instagram. His name is Missouri. I'll link that video in the description so you can watch it after this one if you would like to learn a little bit more. But yeah, he done a whole video covering the Instagram algorithm, and he is the head of Instagram, so you should be trusting him. However, before you go and watch that video, I'm going to give you a few tips now that we can implement to help you grow your page. Now we know how the algorithm works. Okay, so the first tip I'm going to give you is to post in a certain niche and post consistently. This is going to help the algorithm push your content out to the right people, helping your page get some more views in the longer term. Point number 2 is going to be engaging with your audience. So don't spend all day doing this, but you can do things like replying to comments, replying to DMs, maybe even reaching out to people, trying to start conversation in the comments, just little things like this to help build that loyal following. And at the same time, it's going to make your videos get put on these people's feeds first, because Instagram is going to believe that you guys have a connection. Now, my last point is probably going to be the most important, but this is going to be creating original content. Reposting content isn't really cutting it anymore. If you really don't have time to create your own content, or you really don't want to create your own content, I don't mean showing your face by this, by the way. I mean just creating like a theme page, but making original content. Then you can do a thing called remixing, which is not going to harm your page as much as just reposting the content. However, I would highly recommend you creating your own content. It's going to build up your skill set even more, and also it makes your page a lot more legit when you grow it. And overall, you should just have better engagement than if you're just reposting from other people, because at that point you're not even really a page, you're just almost like a sharing broker, because you're sharing people's content from other pages. So no one's actually following you for you, they're following you for all these people that you're sharing their content. Plus, creating your own content is just going to make the chances of you blowing up a lot bigger than if you were to do remixing. But if you really don't have time, I guess you can start off with remixing. If you found this video valuable, make sure you drop a comment and let me know what the most valuable thing is that you took away from this video. If you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend you watch this video over here, as it is all about how I managed to grow 25,000 followers in just 7 days on my Instagram account. I also have a totally free Discord community in the description that is all about growing your social media, and it's just a great way to network with like-minded individuals. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.